Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So before the break, we have derived the expression to determine the change in diameter, change in length, and change in volume. So I have explained two methods to determine the change in dimensions. So first of all, we need to understand the problem statement. A cylindrical shell with 0.8 meter in diameter and having length 3 meter and wall thickness 10 millimeter. If the shell is subjected to an internal pressure of 2.5 megapascal Newton per millimeter square, then determine the change in diameter, change in length, and change in volume, provided is that Poisson ratio is 0.25 and modulus of elasticity is given 200 gigapascal. So there is a summary of the data here. So first of all, whenever I solve, so what I do, I write down the equation that may be required. So hoop strain, this is a formula of the hoop strain, longitudinal strain and volumetric strain. So if you multiply this expression with the diameter, length and original volume, you can determine the change in diameter, change in length and change in volume. So there are two methods. You may either use this final expression or you can determine sigma h and sigma l and you can use this parameter. So what I have did, I have determined the hoop stresses and longitudinal stresses. So just determine the hoop stress PD over 2T. P is 2.5, 800 is the diameter in millimeter, and 2 times of thickness is 2 into 20. Just determine the sigma h, which is 100. Sigma L is the half of sigma h, you can write here. And because there is no any joint is given. If no joint is given, just determine either sigma L and sigma h will be 2 times of the sigma L, or determine the sigma h and consider sigma L as a half of sigma h. But I have determined both, so you can use vice versa. So I have just substituted the value of the sigma h and sigma L in hoop strain formula. 1 over E is the 200 gigapascal, sigma h is 100, Poisson ratio is 0.25 and sigma L is 50. So I have determined the hoop strain as like this. So strain is the unitless millimeter over millimeter or meter over meter. So answer will be same. If I will determine the longitudinal strain, so longitudinal strain is equal to 1 over E into sigma L minus nu into sigma H. So if I will substitute the values, so longitudinal strain is coming 0.125 into exponent minus 3. Then change in diameter. Change in diameter is equal to the diametric strain or hoop strain multiplied by the original diameter. So if you multiply the hoop strain with the, because hoop strain is equal to diameter strain with the original diameter, so the change in diameter is 0.35. And similarly, longitudinal change in length is equal to longitudinal strain multiplied by the length, and the length is 3000 millimeter. So the answer is 0.375 millimeter. Then volumetric change in volume can be determined from the volumetric strain. So volumetric strain is equal to 2 times of the hoop strain plus 1 time of the longitudinal strain. If you substitute the values, so volumetric strain is coming 1 into exponent minus 3. So change in volume is equal to the volumetric strain into the volume, original volume, which is pi d over 4 into length. So I have also determined the change in volume also. So this was the problem. So here you can also use this final expression also, change in volume, PD over 4T into 5 minus 4 into nu. So that is the volumetric strain. Or you can use this formula to determine the change in length. But I have used the basic formula that I have used for the derivation. So the answer will be same regardless what method you are adopting. Okay, next is the vessel subjected to fluid pressure. This is very important. Actually, in the first case, we have determined the what type of the internal stresses produced in the shell walls. Three type of the stresses produced: radial, that we are ignoring in thin shell. Other are the longitudinal stresses and hoop stresses. We have already derived the expression and we know how to determine that. And then we have determined how to compute the change in geometric dimension. When shell is subjected to pressure, how much is the change in diameter and change in length. Okay, next is that whenever the fluid may be gas or maybe water, when the fluid and gas is placed at atmospheric pressure, for example the water, when it is placed in the open pond or open pot, its volume will be different. But when we are compressing the fluid, so the particle come closer, it means that at a certain pressure the volume is reducing. It means that when the pressure is inversely proportional to the volume, it means that if we are exerting the pressure on the fluid, then the volume of the fluid will also reduce. It means that the volume of the fluid at atmospheric pressure will be more than the volume of the fluid at certain pressure. It means that when we are exerting the fluid or we are injecting the fluid into the cylinder at certain pressure, so the volume will be reduced. It means that we have to see, it means that in order to maintain the pressure, we have to exert or inject some extra fluid in the cylinder. If the cylinder is having the volume, maybe you can say that 1000 ml or mm cube. So it doesn't mean that you can pour the fluid equal to 100 mm cube. Maybe we need to pour more, because when we are pouring the or injecting the fluid at certain pressure, so at a pressure, so volume of the fluid may be less than 1000. It means that the cylinder will be little bit empty. Maybe the actual volume may be 900 ml. So it means or mm cube. It means that we need to inject the 100 ml more to maintain the pressure. So next point is that how we can determine the change of the fluid volume if it is subjected to certain pressure. So the formula is simply very same. For example, the modulus of the velocity is equal to stress over strain. Then if we are considering the change of the volumetric strain, so volumetric strain E will be replaced by another parameter which is called bulk modulus. So just equivalent to the E value, bulk modulus is the volumetric stress over volumetric strain. E value is the linear stress over linear strain. So it means that what is the volumetric stress? Volumetric stress is equal to pressure, which is uniformly acting, or hydrostatic pressure, which is uniformly acting on the wall surfaces. And what is the epsilon V? Epsilon V is the volumetric strain. So volumetric strain is equal to change in volume over original volume. So bulk modulus is equal to P V over delta V. It means that if we want to determine the change in volume, so change in volume is equal to PV over K, bulk modulus. So that is the change. Change means reduction in the fluid volume under pressure. It means that whenever a fluid is subjected to a certain pressure, so its change in volume or volume reduction is the function of the bulk modulus. So bulk modulus is the material property that will be different for any type of the fluid. For water, this value is different. For petroleum, this is different. For any other liquid, that is different. For air, this value is different. So it means that the volume of the fluid will be reduced by this delta V parameter when we are uh, is exerting some pressure, or when we are injecting that fluid at certain pressure into the cylinder. Okay, now please see here in the next slide I will explain. So there are two phenomena which are being induced when we are exerting the fluid at certain pressure in cylinder. So there are two type of the changes are being developed within the cylinder. Dimensions of cylinder is increasing and the volume of the fluid is reducing. So please close your mic, gentlemen. I can see the noise. So it means that volume of the cylinder is increasing and volume of the fluid is also decreasing at certain pressure. It means that this much is the extra. It means that we are having some extra space available in cylinder that can be filled by some extra fluid. So how we can compute that value? Extra fluid required to maintain the pressure P. To maintain the pressure means that to raise the required level, it is equal to the increase in the volume of cylinder, geometric increase plus reduction in the fluid volume. So extra fluid required to maintain the pressure or to increase the pressure of the fluid is equal to the volumetric strain in the cylinder and material strain or change in the fluid dimension. So that is the increase in the cylinder dimension, and that is the reduce in fluid volume. So that will be the extra that can be computed. If we are not taking care of this parameter, then the actual pressure will be reduced. For example, you are assuming that you are having one cylinder whose volume is equal to 100 unit, and 100 unit mean that you are having a fluid that is also having the 100 unit volume at atmospheric pressure, and you are assuming that you want to pour that fluid in cylinder at a pressure 10 megapascal. But when you are pouring that 100 unit fluid at pressure 10 megapascal in cylinder, so due to that pressure, what will happen? Initially the pressure will be same, but the internal volume of the cylinder will increase. When increase in the volume is inversely proportional to the pressure. So because the spaces between the fluid particle will increase, so the pressure will decrease from 10 unit to maybe 9 unit. And further, when you are injecting the fluid at certain pressure, so the volume of the fluid is further reducing. It means that the actual fluid you are not injecting as a, for example, 10 unit, 100 unit, you are injecting 90. It means that there will be some more space available. When the more space will be available, then the total pressure will not be 10, it may be 8. It means that if you want to maintain the pressure 10 megapascal, then we need to inject some extra fluid. And how we can compute the extra fluid? We need to consider the increase in the cylinder dimension and reduction in the fluid volume. So there is a problem, sample problem here. A copper tube of 50 millimeter diameter and 1200 millimeter long has a thickness of 1.2 millimeter with closed ends. It is filled with water at atmospheric pressure. So filled with water at atmospheric pressure, find the increase in the pressure when an additional volume of 32 cc of water is pumped into tube. The E value of copper is taken 100 gigapascal and Poisson ratio is 0.3 and K value of the water is 2000 Newton per millimeter. Okay, what is the problem? Actually, if cylinder is having the water at atmospheric pressure means that no pressure is exerted. So there is no decrease in the fluid volume. It means that also if it is at atmospheric pressure, so water is also not exerting any pressure on wall of the cylinder. It means that the change in cylinder dimensions are also ignored. But when we are pouring the extra fluid or when we are exerting the pressure, so it means that vice versa mean that either if you want to exert the pressure, when you will exert the pressure, so volume of the water will reduce and cylinder will increase, so you need to inject the extra fluid. Or in other words, if you want to inject some extra fluid, so extra fluid will increase the pressure within the cylinder. So all the parameters is given, so we have to just use simple this equation. So extra fluid which is being injected is equal to the increase in the volume of cylinder and decrease in fluid volume. So this expression is given. So from this expression, we know this value, it is 32. This is given 32 centimeter cube. We need to convert into millimeter, multiplying with the exponent 3. And then P is unknown. 50 is the diameter. E is 100 gigapascal. Thickness is 1.2. Poisson ratio 0.3. So here V is volume of the cylinder, original volume with before it is exerted at some pressure. So this is equal to pi d squared by 4, and we can substitute over here. So in this equation, only unknown is P. If you are solving this equation, you can determine the P. That will be the P value when the pressure increase in the cylinder when you are exerting extra fluid. Okay, I didn't give the answer. I leave this problem to complete by yourself. Okay, at the moment I would like to take maybe 1 and 2 questions. So if someone is having question, quick question, he may raise the hand option. If no, then I will continue. Okay, I will continue. I will take the question at the end. Okay, in the part 1, we have derived the formula for the cylindrical vessel. If our shell is the spherical means that it is round just like the football, then how to determine the longitudinal stresses and hoop stresses? The formula is same. Actually in spherical, so there is no length. If you are cutting the cross section at any point, if you are cutting the cross section maybe from here vertical or from the horizontal, all cutting section will be exactly same. You need to cut into 2 halves. It means that in that case, for example, this is the along the length and this is the hoop stresses. Because dimension of the sphere is same in the length direction and also in the width direction, regardless that wherever you are cutting the section from. So it means that this pressure of this fluid which is exerted in the downward direction, that can be determined, this force can be determined by this projected area, which is pi d squared by 4 multiplied by P, that is equal to bursting force which is acting on the downward, and it is balanced by the resisting force which is acting on the wall surface, which is equal to longitudinal stress, or you can say hoop stresses multiplied by pressure into circumference multiplied by thickness. So bursting force P into pi d squared by 4 is equal to sigma h into pi d into t. So sigma h in that case is equal to Pd over 4t. And if you are cutting the section over here, so in this spherical case, actually the hoop stresses and the longitudinal stresses, they will have the same. So you can say that in case of this spherical cylinder, stress in all direction is same because it is having uniform dimension. So in case of this cylindrical vessel, hoop stresses were twice of the longitudinal stresses, but in case of the spherical cylinder, we are having the hoop stresses and longitudinal stresses same, which is Pd over 4t. So hoop stresses are also reduced. So what we got from here, what we are understanding, it means that if we are using this spherical cylinder, so we can reduce the stress to the half. The cylindrical vessel are subjected to this stress twice as compared to the spherical cylinder because sigma h is 2 times of the longitudinal stresses. But here the hoop stresses are also equal to longitudinal stresses. It means that we have reduced the internal stress to the half. So that is the advantage of using this spherical cylinder. And further, because change in diameter you can determine all direction will be same. So volumetric strain, we can determine that is very easy. Volumetric strain, we have already driven the expression that is equal to, let me also modify this expression. So actually this is equal to Yes, this. We have already driven this expression that volumetric strain is equal to 2 times of the Hooke strain. Okay, still this is 1 and 1 time of the longitudinal strain. We have already derived this. Hooke strain is equal to diametric strain because Hooke stress and longitudinal stress they are same. So both epsilon h and epsilon l both are can be replaced with the epsilon d. So if I am replacing the epsilon h and epsilon l with epsilon d because all dimensions they are same. So it means that we may have that volumetric strain will be equal to 3 times of the Hooke strain or 3 times of the diametric strain. So in that case, the volumetric strain will be equal to 3 over E if we are substituting the values in this expression. So that is equal to epsilon 3 by over E into epsilon h minus, sorry, sigma h minus nu into sigma h. Sigma h or sigma l, you can use either sigma l and sigma h because both are same. And both values are equal to PD over 4T. So this will be the volumetric strain. So change in volume is equal to the volumetric strain into the regional volume. Volume of the sphere is equal to 4 by 3 into pi r cube. Just this is a change. Hooke stresses and longitudinal stresses they are same in spherical cylinder. Similarly, Hooke strain and longitudinal strain that will also be the same. Just only the change is the formula for the volume. So volume in cylindrical vessel is pi d square by 4, but in spherical vessel that is 4 by 3 into pi r cube. So this is the problem I leave for you because this problem is similar to the example problem number 4. Only the change is that this is the dealing with this spherical cylinder, and I believe that you will be able to solve. If you will have any problem, you may contact me. Next, just quickly I will explain the difference between the thick and thin cylinder. So thin cylinder, the wall thickness is less than 1 by 10th of the inner radius or 1 by 20th of the inner diameter. But in case of thick cylinder, the wall thickness will be more than 1 by 10th of the radius, internal radius, or 1 by 20th of the internal diameter. The radial stresses are neglected. Actually, radial stresses they are also the shear stresses. They can shear or they are compressive. So we know that that can be ignored. Why? Because thickness is very small. But that cannot be ignored because thickness is significant. So change of this strain cannot be ignored. So we can compute the variation of the radial stresses in the thickness direction. They will be shear. They will tend to shear across the thickness. Hooke stresses is assumed to be uniformly distributed over the wall thickness. Over the mean along the length also and also across the thickness. We are assuming that if at corresponding to the internal radius inner surface the Hooke stresses is 100, they are also 100 across the thickness with reference to the outer diameter. But Hooke stresses they are not varying uniformly. They are varying parabolically. So across the thickness they are changing. When we will derive the expression, then I will explain. Example for the thin cylinder are tires, gas, and water storage tank. But for the thick cylinder, gun barrel, for example in cannon, where the thickness is very large, high pressure vessel, for example in oil refining pipeline and other high pressure conduits. So analytical treatment is simple and approximate. Just like we have seen, we have just computed the Hooke stress and longitudinal stresses, and we ignore the radial stresses. And the expression to determine the change in diameter and change in length, they were also very simple. But here analytical treatment is complicated but accurate. Why accurate? Because we are having one more unknown stress component, which is the radial stress. Thin cylinders are statically determinate. Statically determinate mean that we number of available equations are equal to number of unknown. There are two unknown. One is the radial stress, one is hoof stress and one is longitudinal. And we just determine by applying the equilibrium equation in horizontal direction and in vertical direction. But in thick cylinder, that is statically indeterminate. So number of the available equation may be 2 and unknown are 3 in radial direction. So we need to determine. So state of the stress is biaxial or membrane. Membrane means that the stresses are acting along the dimension of the wall, not across the thickness. But here the state of the stress is the triaxial. Membrane means that, for example, if you are having the fabric or a cloth, if you are stretching along any direction, so we need some force. But if you want to bend, it can easily be bent. But in thick cylinder, you cannot bend it. If you want to bend, we need to apply some force. So here, that is the assumption sigma h. So we are assumed that sigma h will be more, hoof stress will be more corresponding to inner wall, maybe, and they are varying linearly, parabolically. So at the outer, this value will be less. But in case of the thin cylinder, because thickness is very small, so we are assuming that the hoof stresses are uniformly distributed along the thickness. Hoof stresses, they are along circumference, radial stresses along the radius. So longitudinal, they are acting out of plane direction. So here, hoof stresses at any circumference perpendicular to the surface, they are acting. So I will stop here. Maybe next time I will discuss the assumption and we will solve some problems related with the thick cylinder. Okay, I still have around 8 minutes. So if you are having any quick question you may ask. Please use the raise hand option. Anybody is having the question? Ali Raza, open your mic. Ali Raza. Open your mic and ask the question. I want to hear you. Respond me. Not there. Okay. Ali Usama, open your mic.
Yes, sir. Hello. Yes, sir.
Okay, what is the advantage of spherical cylinder?
Advantage of spherical?
Spherical cylinder, what is the advantage?
सर उसके अंदर क्या था सर नहीं याद रहा मैंने अभी तक नहीं अच्छे तरीके पढ़ा नहीं है
सुना भी नहीं यार मैंने
सुना तो है सर
चलो ठीक
सर तो कोई एक्सियल फोर्सेस का कुछ था
ओके 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 क्लोज योर माइक क्लोज
ओके सर
38 open your mic and respond 38 roll number okay I want to hear Aliza, it doesn't mean that I want to make sure maybe on the other side is you or maybe somebody else. Maybe you have asked your little brother. Okay, respond the question. Yes, 38.
Hello.
Yes, respond.
Yes, sir. I'm here. No question, sir.
No question.
No, sir.
So where are you sitting? I can see the traffic voice on the background.
Sir, I'm sitting on a terrace.
Terrace. तो बारिश हो रही है
नहीं
ठीक
सर
है माइक बंद ठीक है माइक बंद कर लो तुम यार ठीक है ओके
यस सर
let me check who else is there द टेंडेंसी इज जस्ट 43 हैं, मुझे कम शो हो रहे हैं। 13 ओपन योर माइक।
So, is my voice audible?
Yes, audible. Okay. So what is the advantage of spherical cylinder?
So इसमें ज़हन में नहीं है।
ज़हन में क्या है फिर? अच्छा, what are the type of the stresses induced in any cylinder?
Radial and hoop stresses.
And what is about longitudinal?
Yes, sir.
Can I compute the radial stress in cylindrical vessel? Thin cylinder.
Yes, sir.
Can I compute radial stress in thin cylinder?
Yes, sir.
अच्छा ठीक है, तुम नाश्ता करो जाके। Okay, anybody is having the question? 48, yes. What question? Open your mic and ask.
सर मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि हमने पढ़ा था कि जो सिलेंडर्स होते हैं उनमें जो हुप स्ट्रेसेस हैं वो ट्वाइस होते हैं लॉन्गिट्यूडल स्ट्रेसेस के।
पढ़ा नहीं, ड्राइव किया है, देखना। हाँ जी, ऐसे ही है।
यस यस सर, और उनकी वजह से जो स्ट्रेन होगी वो भी डबल होगी।
हमने वॉल्यूमेट्रिक स्ट्रेन का फार्मूला ड्राइव नहीं किया, 2 टाइम ऑफ द डायमेट्रिक स्ट्रेन प्लस लॉन्गिट्यूडनल स्ट्रेन। यस, डबल ही होगी। हमने
Yes,
वॉल्यूमेट्रिक किया ना ड्राइव। हमेशा जब भी आंसर देते
बाद में जब
हाँ
हमने
जी,
देखा था
हाँ जी,
स्फेरिकल सिलेंडर्स में, तो वो उसमें भी तो वो डबल ही लिखी हुई है हमने।
हाँ जी, उसमें भी
सिंगल
डबल है।
फिर वो
नहीं नहीं, उसमें भी उतनी ही होगी।
ठीक
उसको
है
चेक कर ले, मैं आपके समय लगी, लेकिन वो उतनी ही होगी। ठीक है, एक्चुअली उसमें क्या होगा कि दोनों के कंपोनेंट रिजल्टेंट 3 होगा। मैंने उसमें वो 2 लिखना नहीं था, मुझे चाहिए। उसमें 1.5 एक तरफ होगी, 1.5 एक तरफ होगी। मे बी आई विल
Yes,
ड्राइव
sir.
दिस
क्योंकि
एक्सप्रेशन
उनके
अगेन।
स्ट्रेसेस सेम है।
यस, ओके,
Yes.
इट्स अ वेरी गुड क्वेश्चन। आई विल, कहाँ पे गया? यू आर राइट, आई गेस
28
यू
राइट
आर।
में था।
ठीक है, यू आर राइट। सो यू, आई विल चेक दिस, ओके।
ओके सर।
I will check and I will send you updated slide, because you are correct, you are right, because that must be the same. I will
Okay,
drive
sir.
it by myself, then I will change it. Okay, I will check. Good question, I will verify.
Okay.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, if there is no any further question, I would like to conclude the lecture.